Prosecutors implicate New Orleans attorneys in a years-long fake car crash scheme.
Prosecutors believe the scheme led to the murder of a key federal witness. David Jones joins us now with what the court documents reveal.
This wide-ranging 24-page indictment was unsealed today. In it are the names of several well-known area personal injury attorneys. The investigation has been drawn out over years now, but one analyst says the legal community has been watching, waiting for the shoe to drop.
I think part of what they're saying in one of those counts is that they obstructed justice by killing a witness, and that is in this indictment also.
Prosecutors were already working to unravel the conspiracy when they say someone shot and killed one of their key witnesses, Cornelius Garrison, in September 2020. Garrison had been cooperating with prosecutors for around a year.
Had this witness not been murdered in 2020, I think that other attorneys and higher-ups in the hierarchy of the stage accident scheme would have been indicted and convicted.
Prosecutors say 35-year-old Ryan Harris plotted to execute Garrison. His girlfriend, 39-year-old Giovanna Gardner, later pled guilty to a reduced conspiracy charge and began cooperating. Harris, who owned a car repair shop, remains named in an ongoing indictment, which has now implicated several area attorneys.
I mean, in the legal community, everybody's been talking about it and somewhat waiting for the other shoe to fall, because in the previous indictments, with the people that did the slamming and the false accidents, the roads would lead back supposedly to lawyers, and you were always waiting for something like this to occur.
The indictment names 2 law firms and several lawyers, Mata Law and Vanessa Mata, and Jason Giles and the King firm, along with attorney Danny Keating. It also names disbarred attorney Sean Alfordish, who prosecutors say was dating Mata. It lays out a scheme where so-called slammers, some of whom remain unnamed, would purposely collide with 18-wheelers, which they would find through spotters. It alleges they would work with attorneys, some of whom are still unnamed, to pursue fraudulent lawsuits for big payouts. It claims Mata Law pursued fraudulent lawsuits, knowing they were based on staged collisions. The King firm is alleged to have done the same, and even paid slammers $1,000 per passenger in the staged collision. An attorney for Mata said in part, quote, "Vanessa Mata is completely innocent of any wrongdoing. The government's theory that a lawyer barely a year out of law school decided to participate in a sprawling conspiracy is terribly mistaken. If these accidents were in fact staged, my client was also a victim and taken advantage of by others." Harris, on top of the conspiracy charge, still faces the witness tampering and murder charges. Prosecutors have charged 52 people in this scheme. We did reach out to the King firm for comment, but we did not hear back.